I'm going to go with Devin Witherspoon, who was drafted in the top 5 of the draft. He had his best week of the season so far in week 3. Double-digit targets. He only allowed, I think, 5 catches and 1 first down. He was lights out. He broke up 2 passes. He's been great against the run. You just see the juice on the field with this guy.
Shotgun snap, drops back 3, lines right throw, intercepted. It's picked up on the play. Witherspoon, the 5 on the numbers upfield, the 20, the 30, breaks a tackle, 50, angles to the middle, the 30, the 20, far side 10, 5-foot race, touchdown, touchdown. It's a Seattle pick 6, Devin Witherspoon.
Devin Witherspoon, plus 2,000 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year last week, plus 750 before the pick 6, plus 175 now. How quickly it drops, Jay.
Good call, Connor. Good call by you. He plays so loud. It's unbelievable.
You cannot
he is
miss
a
him
missile out there.
Cannot miss him on the field. It was like that at Illinois, and it's instantly translated to the NFL. As you see the Jay Croucher tweet right here, D-Roy coming, as prophesied by a week ago.
On FF Happy Hour at 20 to 1. Yeah. By at Connor J. Rogers. I like how Jay Croucher sort of like tries to
in the real tweet.
In the real tweet.
Did we Photoshop it out?
Yeah, like, no, it's like, it's interesting. I can't believe, like, give Jay, you couldn't tag Connor? You couldn't, like,
tagged him.
It's so outrageous. Like, anyway, at Connor J. Rogers on Twitter, please follow him. He's at Connor James Rogers on the gram.
There we go.
Absolutely. Do not do me a favor and follow Jay, because you won't find anyone else to follow. I will tell you this, though, Devin Witherspoon, if you would like to come by the Fantasy Football Happy Hour bar, you drink free today.
Yes.
Because great call by you, great game by him, great season by him, unbelievable. Our friend Lawrence, I think, sent us a screenshot like he's in an IDP league where Witherspoon had 80 fantasy points. That's like in some league that he's in. Like, it's unbelievable how good he was last night specifically. As good as he is, I wonder how much of this is just like, it's also the Giants' offensive line is bad. Their offense is brutal. As we talked about in the last segment, 3 of the 4 defenses that have played the Giants have scored double-digit fantasy points. Like my Twitter feed is filled up with people that sent me screenshots of people that were like, I was dead, and then I started the Seattle defense, and now I won, Monday Night Miracle.
I mean, there's just sometimes an offensive line just gets so bad where it's just no longer viable. Everything just burns. Think back to Jay Cutler on some of those Chicago teams where he's getting sacked 8 times in prime time. You just can't do anything. And the fact that no Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal has just been a disaster for this team. And Daniel Jones, I mean, the pick 6 was terrible, but also when you get sacked 11 times, there's just no hope. Like, of course you should be you're throwing it to opponent players because you don't know what planet you're on at that point. But he was bad. Everything was bad about this offense. The only good thing to me is that Wan'Dale Robinson saw additional snaps and he kind of became a bit more of the guy in that passing offense. But there's not much hope there.
By the way, on the waiver wire show again, it'd have to be a deep league. But I do think your point. Like, I do think the offense will ultimately get somewhat better, and I do think the fact that Wan'Dale Robinson, who's gotten at least 5 targets in back-to-back games, went from a 22% target snap share to 64% last night. Like, if he gets over 80% and he's getting that kind of targets, like, Wan'Dale Robinson is somebody that Brian Daboll drafted. Like, he's their guy. They really like him as well. Now, having said that, they can't seem to get the ball to anyone. Darren Waller had a 9-point in a game in which they get their asses kicked. Had a single-digit target share, 9.4%, his lowest of the season. Again, like, we had such a great betting night. Like, in terms of, like, you got first to 15, really well done. I had Ken Walker anytime touchdown, that worked out. But one of my bets on DraftKings was also that Darren Waller over 46.5 receiving yards didn't come close to that. Like,
they lost 10 passing plays to sacks.
I mean, it's
the issue.
Like unbelievable.
So that's potentially 7 or 8%.
He's single-digit fantasy points in 3 or 4 games. He's been under 40 receiving yards in 3 or 4 games. This is somebody that a lot of us, including me, were very high on in the preseason. Are we bailing on Darren Waller?
No, Andrew Thomas will come back. They will get better. This was a competent enough offense last year, so it will get better. So I think you just have to hold firm with Darren Waller for the time being. They've also, outside of the Seahawks, they've played some amazing defenses in the Niners and the Cowboys. So I think it'll get better for Waller, and he's still a hold. On the Seattle side of the ball, just a weird game overall for the Seahawks. Geno gets injured, comes out. They get the pick 6 return, and so. Look, there's just not much to read into this, I think. Zach Charbonnet saw a little bit of time. Geno didn't play particularly well. The receivers, it's still Lockett and Metcalf. Those are you guys.
JSN got 3 targets, but that's fine as well. Worth noting as well that Charbonnet, though, did play 22% of snaps, averaged 6.2 yards per carry. As you see there, 24% snap rate.
He looks good.
Right, he looks good. Like, he's somebody that, again, needs to be rostered in leagues. It feels like he might get a chance. They didn't need him that much because they were up by so big.
Yep.
They were up so much as well. Better days ahead for Daniel Jones, who remains at QB2. Like, again, at least the rushing was there for Daniel Jones. But, oofa.
We're taking our last break.
They've been
when
on
we're back.
Primetime 3 out of 4 games.
Oh, great
the
catch.
Giants have.
Fantastic
It's been
catch.
tough.
They haven't had many good quarters in football this year.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.